there's a few of us in this room that invested on Broadway in On Your Feet, and we happen to have the star of that show. He did it on Broadway and on the national tour. He played Emilio Estefan in On Your Feet, and he has done so many other things. He is from Mexico, so he has been in so many shows in Mexico. He also has 2 albums out, one in a foreign language, and he's working on an English-speaking album, which we are thrilled about. And I just adore this guy. I love him to pieces. He just returned from Goodspeed Opera Company, where he did Rodgers and Hammerstein's. It's a grand night for singing. Ladies and gentlemen, Maurizio Martinez.
Thank you. How are y'all doing tonight? Thank you, Jamie, for that lovely introduction. First of all, I want to thank the Actors Fund. Thank you for everything that you do. This is a very special night, and it's time to thank them, because trust me, I know the help that we need sometimes as actors in the city. This first song is very special to me. It's a new song, and it's from a musical that I'm developing with a friend of mine who's my best friend, actually, my brother, Jaime Lozano, a wonderful Mexican. You know him, Jaime. He's a wonderful, wonderful composer and musical director. And the show is called Present Perfect, and it's based on a true story, and it takes place in an ESL classroom, English as a second language. And the character that I play is a man from Peru who misses his homeland. And my dear Ron is gonna help me. Mi Peru, why do I keep this key? From the front door I can't remember being welcomed by Pablito's chicha smile. Mi Peru, I miss your green Pachamama, Chirimoya, Sauco, Lucuma, how I miss the taste of home. Peru, the hills with ancient secrets, mis ancestros keep me strong with your music and your song. Peru, the fog that blankets the sea, the ocean that I love, it clouds my memory. Peru, am I forgetting you as I walk the busy streets? Miss your sound surround me, feel your heart surround me, memories that ground me to my home. I could never lose you, even if I choose to. New York, will you ever feel like home? Let's hear it for this amazing band. Mi Peru, I miss your green Pachamama, Chirimoya, Sauco, Lucuma, how I miss the taste of home. Peru, the hills with ancient secrets, mis ancestros keep me strong with your music and your song. Peru, the fog that blankets the sea, the ocean that I love, it clouds my memory. Mi Peru, am I forgetting you as I walk the busy streets? Miss your heart surround me, miss your hills surround me, memories trees that ground me to my home. I will never lose you, even if I choose to. New York, will you ever feel like home? Yeah. I'm home. Thank you. Thank you. Isn't this band amazing, first of all? Thank you so much. This next song, I just, as Jamie said, I just did a grand night for singing. Now, I had never sung Rodgers and Hammerstein because it's the only show that I played in Mexico was The Sound of Music, and I was too young to play Captain Von Trapp, so I couldn't be in the show. But when I was asked to come do this at Goodspeed, I said yes, and it was a beautiful production where we sang as gay couples. The songs usually performed by women were performed by men. We had a very, very diverse cast, and I was very excited to sing this next song and put my own touch in it, and you'll see why. This is a man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ron.
Maurizio Martinez. We all are very painfully aware that we just lost an icon in the musical theater world. And it hit so many of us in so many different ways. I mean, he was an icon, a treasure. He was a giant. And I have the privilege of being a co-producer on Company, which was supposed to open on his 90th birthday in 2020, March 22nd, 2020. Was supposed to be the opening night, and it was going to be a party to end all parties for his birthday. And of course, then the pandemic happened. Luckily, we did have like a third preview party, and he was there, and he was happy and wonderful. And he did go when it just reopened. Not opened; it's opening on Thursday. But the first preview, he went to the first preview and just loved it. Well, my next guest was in the original cast of Company, and so she has more stories to share with you. I don't know if I first met her when she moved into the building I was living in on 72nd Street, but that's how we got friends. She has been in so many Broadway shows. When we met, she was down at the Public Theater doing a chorus line, the Hamilton of its day. She said, "You must come and see this musical. I think it might be the best thing I've ever been in." And it was amazing, but you couldn't get in. So I had to wait till it hit Broadway. And as you all know, she won the Tony Award for her role as Cassie. You all know her credits. There's too many to mention. Ladies and gentlemen, Donna McKechnie. She's got a book. She's got a film. It doesn't even matter.
Oh, thank you. I got up here a little early. That was fantastic. I should get out more often, I think. Gosh. This is thank you, first of all, for being here. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for being here for the Actors Fund. The Actors Fund does such incredible work. Yeah. So, oh gosh, I just got excited and emotional seeing reunions. And but, you know, some of us are still reeling from the loss of one of Broadway's, well, one of Broadway's greatest composer and lyricists. And I am reading so many wonderful stories about how he touched so many lives in wonderful ways, and people are celebrating him. And the words that repeat are, besides genius and brilliant, are generous and kind. And I can attest to that because when I first met him, I was auditioning for Philia in the national tour of A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. And I was really nervous then. And he couldn't have been more kind. I got the job. And that was the beginning. And for someone who was new to everything, he was just so generous. And then skip a few, many years later, I'm sitting the first day of the company reading. The first day we're all together around a big table and all of that music. And we start, of course, by going around and saying our name, introducing ourselves to each other, and the character we're playing. And I was there, I figured at that point, pretty much to represent Michael Bennett's choreography. So we're all saying our name, we're going around, and I say my name and my character. And he said, I knew her as a singer first. Well, that might not mean a lot to anyone, but it meant everything to me. I didn't think he would remember me. I felt seen. And so jump ahead to the last time I rehearsed with him. Follies, the tech at the Paper Mill Playhouse in New Jersey. And I'm standing on stage, and my character has to come on stage and have a private moment before anybody else comes on. And he could sense that I was, a little inhibited, a little intimidated. He saw my fear, really. And he came over to me, no one else was around, and he said, this is your moment. You're back. Now, I assumed he was talking about the character, Sally. And I think he was, but maybe not, I don't know. Because that worked. And it informed me for the rest of the play and the character as well. And I've used that on many shows since. But let me set the scene. My character is Sally, and the event is the last reunion of the Weissman Follies, the night before they tear this theater down. This theater that represents to Sally all of her youthful dreams and passion, and they're all there. Now, Sally married Buddy, but never stopped loving Ben. So she finds herself alone with Ben for the first time in 25 years? Oh, you know, Ben, I used to think a lot about the future, about what I'd do, where I'd be. What if this or that dream never happened? All the things I thought made life worth living don't seem to matter much. Oh, I wanted a career once, but the Follies closed and nothing happened. And you know what? I was fine. I wanted children, and I had two gorgeous boys who did what boys do. They grew up and moved away. I miss them, but they're not the answer. What is? Buddy. It's a pleasant little kingdom, full of pleasant little days. There are charities and lectures and flowers to raise. There are amateur dramatics and evenings of bridge. And I go to civic luncheons when there's someone to remind me. And I study the piano and I never look behind me. It's a merry little kingdom, full of merry little chores, lots of gardening and fixing, all very outdoors. In the driveway is a sports car I shouldn't have bought. And if on occasion I think about you, I eliminate the thought. So shed a tear, and I never turn a hair. Too many mornings, waking and pretending I reach for you. Thousands of mornings, dreaming of my boy. All that time wasted merely passing through. Time I could have spent so content, wasting time with you. Too many mornings, wishing that the room might be filled with you. Morning to morning, turning into days. All the days that I thought would never end. All the nights with another day to spend. All the times I'd look up to be Sally standing at the door, Sally moving to the bed, Sally resting in your arms. How I planned what I'd wear tonight, and when should I get here? How should I find you? Where I'd stand, what I'd say in case you didn't remember. How I'd remind you, you remembered, and my fears were wrong. Was it ever real? Did I ever love you this much? Did we ever feel so happy then? I should have worn green. I wore green the last time, the time I was happy. How much time can we hope that there will be? Not much time, but it's time enough for me. If there's time to look up and be Sally standing at the door, Sally moving to the bed, Sally resting in your arms, with your head against my head.
Wow. Wow, oh wow. Well, this brings us to the end of the show, and I just cannot thank you all enough for being here. And Joe Benincasa, thank you for everything that you do for the Actors Fund and for being here with us tonight. I wanted to thank all of my guests. Everybody was so spectacular. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Thank you to Birdland, to Gianni Valenti. Thank you so much. To Jim Caruso, he was, I think, in Vegas or something. But mostly to my band here. Wow. We are so honored to have on drums Ray Marchica, Rith Hen on bass, and my musical director and true friend, Ron Abel. Well, it wouldn't be a Jamie deRoy and Friends without this signature song. I was packing my bags after a festival appearance. The show had gone real good when a bunch of people with a kind of earthy smell said, we're staying out in these woods. We'd like you to join us, there's plenty of room. We got a nice big tent and there's a big full moon. I stood upwind and said the only thing that I could. Yeah, I had to tell him, Jews don't camp. If it hasn't got a lobby, I don't want it for a hobby. If it's cold and damp, let me give you the news. Jews don't camp. Well, it's really quite simple. It's part of my tradition. Taught to me in my youth. After 40 years in the desert, the 11th commandment says,
Go to bed under a roof.
I'm fairly certain I could live without real bear hugs. I'm not keen to be cuisine for $500,000 bugs. 10 times out of 10, I pick bagels over berries and roots. Yeah, I had to tell him, Jews don't camp. If it hasn't got a kitchen and it isn't air conditioned, where's the exit ramp? Get my walking shoes. Jews don't camp. If I were a Gentile, I would love to fish and hunt and get my water from a stream. But until there's seltzer in the brook, or maybe a nice egg cream, Jews don't camp. Using leaves instead of Charmin may be fine if you're a Mormon, but I'm not that stamp, so I hate to refuse. Jews don't camp. La la la, oi la la la, la la la, oi la la la. If your sleeping bag is tilted, come and join me at the Hilton, 'cause Jews don't camp. If you're tired of your diet, come and meet me at the Hyatt, 'cause Jews don't camp. I get hives and start to break out where there isn't Chinese takeout, 'cause Jews don't